to the 21st Hermes Expo International. As the chairman of this event, the Honorable Aris Melisaratos, suggested, first we're going to have an overview from Dr. George Tsetsepos, the Dean of Lemo College of Business of Drexel University. He's not here with us, but he's on the phone and he's going to talk. We're going to use technology this morning, but I hope that this is the first and the last time, so we can have the room filled again with our guests of the Hermes Expo International. Dr. Tsetsepos, you're on.
Thank you very much. Merci for the invitation. I'm heard that I'm not with you. I'm very far away on the West Coast, and unfortunately, because of the traveling, I'm unable to be with you today. But I do know that this is a very great topic for discussion, especially for those interested in international trade, international flow of goods and services, as the Eurozone crisis has impacted all of us across the globe. At Drexel, what we did a couple of weeks ago, with the support of Hermes, we organized a panel discussion that included several faculty members from the board that had expertise in economic matters related to several European countries. We had faculty from Italy, from Argentina, that is related to Spain, of course, and from Bulgaria and myself, as well as France. And the discussion was centered around to what extent the Eurozone crisis is focused only on Greece. It appears that there are many, many issues outside of Greece that are so critical for the success and survival of the monetary union in Europe, to the point where there are really considerable concerns about the future viability of the monetary union. Many countries outside of Greece, namely Italy, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, face drastic changes in their fiscal policies. They face austerity programs, and they need to reduce their deficits. Greece is not the only country, but it appears that Greece has severe restrictions on its growth and its potential. We hope with the new package that was received by the European Union, IMF, and the Central European Central Bank, Greece might be able to implement those drastic reforms in a way that can avoid bankruptcy. It's something that it might be difficult to be predicted. The truth of the matter is that the crisis has impacted economic growth in countries outside of Germany. Germany appears to be the only country that experienced growth. But we hope that new measures might create momentum and economic growth, something that has been debated and something that I'm not sure is going to be happening in the short term. At this time, I would like to thank everybody who is there, my sincere regrets of not being there, and I hope Mr. Aris Melisaratos and Paul Kotrochos can follow and continue the dialogue and discussion.
Can you take a few questions, sir?
Yes,
thank you. Any questions for Dr. Tsetsepos? Okay. Thank you very much, and we wish you well.
Thank you. I wish you great success.
Thank you.
Bye.
The last 3 weeks, as Dr. Tsetsepos mentioned, Hermes Expo sponsored the Eurozone Crisis Conference at Drexel University with the support of the Hermes Young Professionals Initiative, with the support of the student associations of Drexel University and the surrounding universities, and we have Mr. Oranitsas here today and a few Drexel students. Thank you very much for joining us, and later on we're going to stop by at your conference in the afternoon in this same room So this way we can meet and greet the rest of the young professionals of the East Coast of the United States of America. And I hope you guys, you can expand to unite all the young professionals around the United States. Thank you very much for whatever you're doing. It was a very good conference, a very good initiative. We're working together, building synergy with Drexel University, with all those professors and the people that they want to build synergy, because synergy works in 3 ways or more, as we say. Help the Hermes Expo International. Also, the Hermes Expo International help you, giving you the forum to network and expand your horizons and expand your business, hopefully. And also help the community, help the other groups in the community, the business people. Why not? The young professionals and every other organization. Today you're going to see some non-for-profit organizations here. The National Hellenic Museum, and Mrs. Lahakis is
right here.
Okay, she's here. Welcome, the president of the National Hellenic Museum. It's a unique situation. That's why we mentioned that. They built a $16 million museum in Chicago. That's why they mentioned it, National Hellenic Museum. And Calamos Investments, represented by John Sianis, who is here today. You're going to hear from him later on. He's a great supporter, and this year he's the president, I believe, of the museum. Great. Maybe we can expand this idea to other cities around the United States of America, not to build the same, but to have something different. So this way, our American compatriots can see what the Hellenistic values have to offer, not only in business, as Mr. Parlamas says, but in other sectors as well. I want to thank you very much for all your support, all your synergy that we have been shown to the Hermes Expo. Staff, exhibitors, sponsors, everybody, my heartfelt thanks goes to all of you. Next time we should bring another friend to introduce him to the idea of the synergy that we're building. But this time I'm going to introduce you to someone who's not only an important person for Baltimore, as I used to say, and his bio is at the Hermes Expo directory. You can read all about it. But I want to just say a couple of words about our next speaker, our mentor, our sponsor, our friend, our advisor. Okay? This is the Honorable Aris Mensaratos, the former Secretary of Economic Development of the state of Maryland, the number 2 person at Johns Hopkins University today, and he's here with us. The last 7 years he opens up this forum, and he is the chairman of this business forum that we're building. And I want to thank him for accepting that. It's a big responsibility, but he accepted it for one reason: to unite Phil-Hellenes and Hellenes, Americans and Hellenes, under one umbrella, this umbrella, to give a good perspective to these seminars that we're starting in the morning. So this way they can be educational, arena, they can be informative, they can be used as a networking tool for all of us. Without any further ado, I'm going to introduce the Honorable Aris Mensaratos.
Thank you, Paul. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with a little rebuttal here on what Paul said. I wish I were the number 2 guy at Hopkins University, because I'm called senior advisor to the president. Doesn't really give me the rank of number 2. We have 47,000 employees. I've got 5 Nobel Prize winners, and I've got 20,000 of the best researchers in the world, so I can't be ranked number 2. I guess that's probably sufficient.
You
And yes, I've spoken for this symposium 7 times. And it's gotten much better since the beginning, the early days. And today we have more serious topics to talk about. I was delighted that through the auspices of the Hermes Expo and the goodwill of Dr. Tzatzekos and the Hermes Expo Youth Movement, they were able to pull together this fantastic academic panel on the Eurozone issues and on the impact on tourism, both at home and abroad in Greece. And I thought that if Dr. Tzatzekos had been here, he could have given us a much more succinct summary of what that discussion was. So I'm going to give you my kind of layman's perspective of the way I see it. We've talked many times in the past here about Greece's strengths. This is supposed to be a trade expo. And an issue is, what does Greece have to trade? We have a lot of phenomenal boutique architectural products, but as a global economy, those products are infinitesimal in value. That is, that the scale isn't sufficient to make a huge impact on global commerce. We've said that our strength is primarily the minds of our people. And the other major strength that we have is the beauty of our land. Given that the minds of our people, most of the ones that want to really exercise the power of that mind, are operating outside of Greece, unfortunately. They're all here, they're all over the world. I've said that you look at every great American university, and some of the top researchers and scientists and professors in every field happen to have been educated in Greece or finished their studies here and are studying here to continue their analysis of what makes this planet tick. So our brains are exported largely. The other strength that we accept that we have is ship ownership. I don't know what the statistic is, but we probably control the bulk of the world's merchant fleet. Unfortunately, it is flagged in every other country but Greece. Think about that. You know, countries you never heard of, but we have 20 or 30 Greek tankers flagged there, maybe for tax avoidance purposes, for whatever reason. Given that Greece is in trouble, and we get to the economics of why we're in trouble, we're not generating enough productivity for citizens. We're not generating enough GNP, gross national product. The productivity of a Greek citizen, I calculated 3 or 4 years ago when I was Secretary for Business and Economic Development from Maryland, that the productivity of a Greek citizen at that time was 1/4 that of every Maryland citizen. Not a good position, and I didn't really consider Maryland the ultimate of a productive workforce. But Greece needs, from every one of its people, to produce more. And we've read the criticisms. You know, people retire early, they're on the public dole, all kind of issues. That is placed in the position of being the first of the expected problems of the PIGS countries, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain, who have incredible balance of payments problems, incredible GNP issues, incredible debt issues. Think what if Greece were able to create some kind of a tax subsidy program, assuming they were able to get their population to pay taxes as required, as most people around the world do. But if we gave a tax subsidy to every Greek ship owner to bring their ships back under Greek flag, that could quickly fix that debt problem, I think, because global trade is relatively healthy. Even in poor global economies, trade is healthy. Energy is an issue that has to be, the foundations of energy need to be moved around, and Greek ships take care of most of that. But that is a huge, huge opportunity. But that is the topic that wasn't supposed to be covered today, the whole economic issue, how it's fixed. The bottom line is, I think all of us are concerned, that our fellow Greeks in Greece are going through a very trying period of huge unemployment, of huge unrest against whatever fix any government puts in place, because you've got to bring your finances in shape. And the only good that's coming out of the Greek crisis, folks, is that it is potentially giving America a lesson. Let's not do what they did. Learn from the fact that you cannot have your debt exceed your GNP for too many years. You've got to be able to figure a way that you can see those curves closing in on each other and achieve a balance of payments, achieve a balance of what you spend and what you take in. But back to tourism, because that was Dr. Tsakos' intro. The beauty of our land drives the industry of tourism. We have a Greek tourism expert, and he'll give us, I'm sure, a lot of the statistics. But located where we are, not only Europe, but the entire world wants to go there. The Greek islands are gems of this planet. And if we show on the CNNs of the world and every world news that there's unrest in Greece, that you can't get around, that everybody's on strike, that buildings are burned daily, it may be a minority that causes that, but it causes a perspective that people are afraid to go. That is the key way that we can really turn around the economy. Tourism is probably the number one earnings industry that gets reported within the country of Greece. The ship owners report their earnings someplace else. So we must do whatever it takes to create an atmosphere that Greece is safe to visit, that Greece is cost effective to be a tourist in, and we need to do whatever it takes to enhance the tourists that go to Greece, because tourism is a very viable industry. Given that Greece, much like the rest of the developed world, doesn't have much of a manufacturing industry, and the U.S. doesn't have much of a manufacturing industry left, but that's a whole other issue. Tourism and hospitality becomes one of the few entry-level job creators that can exist in an economy. And therefore, tourism is important to the continuation of a successful economy. My guess is that at this point, there's a huge disruption in the Greek tourism flow. The beauty's still there. The seashores, the beaches, the mountains, the rocks, the olive trees, the vineyards, they're there for the world to enjoy. But the world's afraid to go because they see the strikes and the fire bombings and the broken windows in downtown Athens. That must be fixed. Tourism is becoming a huge industry in America as well, because we don't have a manufacturing base. So because I think tourism and hospitality has taken on the entry level, the job opportunity for the entry level blue collar folks that used to enter, work in the steel mills or the coal mines, now they have to go to hospitality and tourism and distribution. Because most of the consumer goods are made all over the world. They're made in the Pacific Rim, they're made in China. And the knowledge economies of the developed world want the best of those produced goods, and the distribution of those goods in every country creates lots of entry-level jobs. So for the sake of the entry-level worker, the run-of-the-mill person on the street, that is the job creator. And that can be a cash generator for the country. And somehow we need to find a way for our leadership to pull the nation together and to find some tax incentives to repatriate some of the dollars that Greek ship owners generate all over the world, and to find a way to balance the debt issues and to live within their means. Much easier for me to say than for the country to do, obviously. But now that's the way I see it. It's a view formed not with a barrier of a lot of data in front, but it's a gut feel, and I have a substantial gut, as you all can see, so that tends to bring accuracy to the statistic or to the statement. But it's something for all of us to think about. And as Paul said, this expo is an opportunity for us to question each other, to exchange ideas, to go solve them in the side sessions that will take place after we go back to the expo itself. So that is my brief intro here. Tourism is a very, very important contributor to the Greek economy. It has been, it always must be, because nothing compares to the physical beauty of our land. Nothing compares to the history that walking through those mountains and seashores brings to mind. It brings to mind the knowledge and the foundation of all of Western civilization. And to be able to go to the birthplace of Western civilization and to retrace those steps and to participate is an opportunity that everybody in Northern Europe and Central Europe and all over the world needs to partake. So we need to do whatever it takes to make sure that Greece is open for tourism, it's open for business, it's friendly to visitors, and it will welcome the visitors and get the rioters out of the way. So that concludes my comments this morning. I'll take some questions from you, although I'll suggest that you leave the questions to the expert people that are following me on tourism, but I see you have a few hands over here.
Beautiful.
I think you were first or second.
I wanted to ask about the agricultural industry in Greece. I guess looks to be an important industry, but yet, at least in the United States, there's no, I guess, big market for that. You go into a supermarket, you see so many brands of olive oil, mostly Italian. You don't see a Greek brand or wine, for example. What needs to be done to change that? Is it marketing?
Well, marketing certainly is an element of it, but again, I mentioned scale before. We're a small country. We don't have a lot of capacity. What we produce is very boutique, high-end product. And you don't have the capacity to distribute to every major food chain in the U.S. We don't produce enough, I don't think. Whether it's olive oil, whether it's honey, whether it's mastica, whatever our jewels are in agricultural production. Agriculture is the beginning of economic cycles, of the development of a nation. The U.S. started out as an agricultural country. We started the Industrial Revolution. We then demonstrated that we can enhance productivity in agriculture so much that this country alone, by using only a fraction of our land, could feed the world. We became overly productive in agriculture. Our population went to manufacturing a big time, and now the manufacturing is declining. I see a return to boutique manufacturing here. Organic farms, specialty grown meats and vegetables, that sort of thing. That is, okay? But here we have the scale to handle boutique, exceptional products. I don't think Greece has that scale. I don't think we have the capacity in any one of our products to kind of saturate markets. Therefore, we don't have the capacity for large-scale distribution. So that's my answer to that one. Any other questions?
You didn't talk about the politicians. You said that the Greeks did this and that. And how about if we change our leadership?
We keep doing that. I've said before here, this is somewhat controversial. I'm proud of the fact that Greece invented democracy. It is also obvious to me that Greeks, having invented it, haven't learned how to practice it. You can't get two Greeks on any organization that can agree with any issue. And that, I believe, is a problem. Now, on politics, I will let you defer that question to Nicolas Gakis. He's our national Greek politics expert, although he primarily focuses on the global political issues that have driven Greek problems, whether it's a Cyprus problem, Macedonian problem, the Constantinople problem, the Hagia Sophia problem, the Patriarchate problem. Those are issues as a result of the world has screwed up on. And it's put Greece on the wrong side of the global answer, and we need to fix those. And Nick concentrates on those kinds of things. But if you look at the internal politics of Greece, we got bright people, educated primarily here, experts in sociology and economy, and frankly confused on which end of the philosophical spectrum they ought to be on. We need to develop in Greece, as in this country, leaders that know how to achieve consensus, how to bring populations together to solve problems, not to operate at the extremes and alienate the majority of the population. So we've invented democracy, we've got to learn how to practice it. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, I'd like to thank you for this speech. The question is, I'd like your recommendation about the seepers. I've always been down about the seepers. Do you have any information about the seepers and anything the free government is doing to bring the ship owners back, to create some revenue and so on?
Well,
the other question is, what we're doing to eliminate the negative things for CNN, and what we do to promote tourism. So, as you mentioned, that the tourism will be a very
All right. Let me take the second part first.
all right.
We need to eliminate the negative news of CNN. Is don't give them any footage. Don't give them a new opportunity to film another riot.
I said, but we change it, and when I was nobody from the Greek government or anybody, any movement be done. I mean, all of us would be watching the CNN, all of us watch the American news, and I don't see anything to promote tourism in Greece. Very little.
I think the gentleman from the New York Greek Tourism Office should answer that. But again, the difficulty of the nation causes that CNN footage to appear every day, because every day there's a new riot, a new cause for unrest. And there's reason for it. I mean, there's huge unemployment. These young folks don't have a place to work. And one would think that Southern Europe, the developed world, would have jobs for all its people. I got concerned when the Arab Spring hit the planet, and I started thinking about it, and the fact that it is impossible to find jobs for the millions of educated Arabs that are out there in Egypt and North Africa and even the mainstream Arab countries. They don't have a place to work. Similarly, these kids that are striking in Greece don't have a place to work, and that's why they're out on the street. Somehow, leadership needs to stand up. If you get the tax issues straightened out so the Greeks in Greece pay appropriate taxes, not the run-of-the-mill person who can't afford to, but those that, if you read the Wall Street Journal a year ago, that 1/10 of the people that declared their swimming pools a taxable asset, the other 9/10 kind of hit them. There's all kind of stuff like that going on, tax avoidance, and that's important. But the Greek ship owner thing is a matter of getting your tax house in order. Offer a tax incentive, make it worthwhile for the ship owner to bring their ships under Greek registry. Have that Yanolov keep flying all over the planet. Not the Liberian flag, not the Panamanian flag, because they don't do us any good. But the people that staffed those ships used to all be Greeks. The people that did the entry-level work in Greece and every other European country used to be natives. Think about what they are today. In Greece, you got mostly Islamists doing the work. Albanians, Moroccans, people from other lands. I don't know why the Greeks aren't doing that. On the other hand, you look at America, and you have Latinos doing the work. You have Eastern Europeans flocking to all of our resort areas and handling the hospitality industry. And in America, we have relatively low, compared to the rest of the world, unemployment at 8%. But some of our people in high unemployment areas don't really want to go to do the work that the other workers do. The new Americans, as some people may call them, whether they're documented or not. So we have that kind of an issue, the entry-level workforce. So you need to make it acceptable for young kids to enter the entry-level workforce, that it is okay to work in a hotel or a fast food place as you come out of high school. And maybe eventually you can get to be chairman of McDonald's for the world if you start with the right attitude. So there's that kind of thing of matching skill sets with available jobs and having people not thinking that they are above and beyond a particular job that is available. Yes, ma'am.
I'm very disappointed. I follow you. I was not from the beginning here. But no matter what we are doing, we're doing something wrong for the tourists, for advertising Greece, for promoting the Greek interest. And I tell you two very serious examples. During the previous Olympic Games, they put Olympia in the Mount of Olympus. Nobody knew from the CNN that Olympia is where it is in Peloponnesus and not in the Mount of Olympus. Recently, they put Cyprus under Italy. How can we persuade the allies to help us if they don't even know where our country is? Those are very serious issues. They're not just to be forgotten or to take them as secondary. What do we do to promote Greece? History, location, geography, and all the following up
We need to get
good
people
things that
with
Greece can
strong
offer.
convictions like you that are in positions of power and the ability to project the reality of the country, the place, the history, and project it with a legitimacy that is accepted. The Allies know what they've learned, know that they've been told. But, it's not an easy issue. You happen to fall into that position by default, and it's unfortunate. I never heard that Cyprus was part of Italy about this. I missed that piece of news footage. That's the last question, folks.
Okay, you said that Greece is open for business, but what do you have to say about all the laws and the taxes that repel any investors and any entrepreneurs?
I, unfortunately, could not say that Greece is open to business. I said that Greece should put forth a face that says it's open for business. And to do that, it has to fix the tax issues first. It has to have a viable tax system to allow those that are there earning capital to pay their fair share of taxes, and to allow those who aren't there under a guise of a tax credit system to bring their earning capital back into the country, like the ship owners. So it's a sequence of things that must be done in appropriate order. It must be done correctly. And you have to have continuity in leadership and continuity in understanding of what needs to happen. All right, Paul says I can have a couple more. So you back there, sir, and then you.
Getting back to tourism, which is a very important part of Greece's economy, I want to be frank about the issue that I'm personally faced with, and that is bringing American dollars to Greece. And the exchange rate is just killing us, number one. Number two, we can't afford going to Greece and paying $7 to $10 for a cup of coffee. I'm sorry, euros.
Yes.
And on top of that, we're paying 23% tax. So for us to be competitive and to go to Greece, it's definitely an issue.
Certainly.
Our competitors out there, Turkey, etc., are doing a wonderful job. They're taking all of our tourism. We have seen our tourism drop to absolutely minimum, and we're trying to reinforce it. Perhaps the time has come for Greece to outsource tourism to this country. Let us work with them and show them how to benefit tourism.
They can outsource marketing, they can outsource that sort of thing.
Yeah. But we just can't afford to spend that kind of money.
The currency exchange issue, again, starts with an appropriate government. It starts with an appropriate balance of trade, balance of expenditures and revenues. And it takes a wholesale change and stabilization of the entire tax system. And then the currency exchange issue is obviously bigger than Greece. It involves the European Union and its GNP, GDP, its own financials, compared with the U.S. financials, with a reliance on Chinese borrowing, on Japanese borrowing, on Indian borrowing, on the growth of those other economies. So the planet needs to be balanced. Each of the new economic groups need to be addressed differently. And frankly, this country needs to have more continuity in leadership and less of a view of a divided government in the world to allow us to play our rightful role in fixing some of those issues.
I'd like to add that I just heard that every fifth person in Greece works in the tourism segment. And that is very, very difficult to accept.
And probably
One in
2.5
every 5.
2.5 of the other 5
Yes.
work for government,
Yes.
which doesn't have the money to pay them.
Yes.
And the other 2 that are left out of the 5, or maybe 1.5, are in pensions that come out of a fund that is underfunded and can't afford to pay them.
And who's that for?
What's that?
Who's that for? The people?
The government. The government that they elected.
That is the
The government they elected. And when you change leadership every year and a half, it's pretty hard to come up with any kind of a strategy that works. Okay, you're the last one, sir. At Euclidean University.
Yes. I'm going to make a statement rather than a question. I experienced something a week and a half ago which may impact my thinking of Greece. I decided to build a Greek restaurant in Istanbul, Turkey. There isn't a good one. So I walked into the Turkish center across from the UN, cold, went up to the economic officer of the Turkish consulate, told them what I wanted to do, and immediately they said, we will declare you a foreign investor. My project is maybe $3 million. It's not $3 billion. I'm not General Motors. They said, you're going to get treated just like General Motors. We are assigning a person to you who has direct contact with Ankara. We will process all your papers and plans through the Turkish ministries in Istanbul. We will get you all the building permits. If any person in the Turkish government asks you for money, you put their name to us and we will throw them right in jail. Now the Turks are doing it, why can't the Greeks do that? That's my point.
I really cannot answer that. I mean, I can go historically. They got 400 years that we missed out on, maybe to build on their economic strategy, but no. They are smart enough to see what the world wants today. Their government seems to be enlightened to how to play the world market. And let's make sure that we keep them out of the European Union. Unless we can have the European Union have the same effect on them that it did in Greece. But the grass is not always greener on the other side. Maybe for the short term, the Turks are doing it right. But wait till the Kurds start uprising. Wait till some of that stuff that they've got hidden in the closet pops up. That whole Middle Eastern area has 5,000 years worth of history that we're hiding behind. And we haven't been able to fix all the issues. So, not an easy challenge, but I'm glad that you're being treated well. I wish you would have opened up a restaurant in Athens and probably could have used it to welcome tourism. All right.
Turkey, we make money. In Athens, I haven't had it.
Thank you all very much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Aris Menasalatos. A big round of applause because he shared his wisdom with us again today, and we thank him very much for accepting to be the chairman of this event. And the next speaker, without any further ado, I want to introduce Christos Petsilas, who is the director of the Greek National Tourist Organization here in the United States of America, to give his point. And at this point, I want to welcome Mr. Kyle, the Chief of Staff of the County Executive's Office. Thank you very much. And we're going to have a chance to hear it from you, too, because this is not only we know that Greece has the economic issue, but all of us facing the economic issue on a global level. So it's a two-way street. That is why our American compatriots, our American friends, they're going to talk how to bring in people from Europe, from Greece here. And surprisingly, we're going to see that the numbers are increasing every year. And we have the pleasure of having with us Mr. Marangos, George Marangos from New York, the controller of Nassau County, who is running for U.S. Senate. Thank you very much. Later on, we're going to have a chance to hear it from you too. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Petsilas.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear friends, on behalf of the Greek National Tourist Board, I welcome you to today's event. And to promote Greece is to branding Greece. For us, it's not only the tour operators, the travel agents, the tour companies, the air carriers, but anything has to do for our country. Our food, our wine, our poetry, our education, everything. For that, I want to congratulate Paul Kotrogios, our friend Paul, because the Hermes Expo for many years branding Greece. And 2011 was one of the best ever years has Greece in terms of arrivals and income from tourism. Was the second best ever year we had. And that didn't happen as a gift from the God. We did a lot of incentives and we have these great results. And these incentives was, first of all, we lower the sale tax for the hotels, so we make it from 11.5 to 6.5. We make all our airports, except the Athens airport, tax-free landing zone through the summer and 50% for the winter months. That gave to the tour operators and the charter companies bigger profit margin, and they brought many people to Greece. We lift the cabotage laws for the cruises. Now it's a new law. Then every cruise company can create any program from Greece. It's not only to start from Piraeus and finish in Piraeus, but can bring with any flag, any tourist to any port, leave a group, take another group. Also, we did very fast and we made it the visas for the Russian and the Chinese, and we doubled the numbers from China and Russia. As you know, this year we hosted Special Olympics. Another 131 countries, thousands of people, they came over. Also, since 2010, we make the Athens Marathon one of the greatest ones of the whole world. We have the whole United States honored so much, and we have so many the marathons in the United States. As an example, in Washington DC, we have it the last week of October. The New York Marathon is the first week of November, and also the original, the classical marathon in Athens, is the second week of November. In 2010, we celebrated 2,500 years of the marathon, and since then, we increased the numbers from 8 to 10,000 to 25,000, and also the same moment, we do the 5K and 10K, and in our booth, you will find also the applications for the Athens marathons for the 2012. Also, what we did, because we are in big debt, and now we became a Ministry of Culture and Tourism, and also the Greek television, the Greek public television belongs to the same ministry. We get the crews of TV and we got the opinions of every visitor and make that our campaign. And we did 13 editions in 13 languages, in probably in dinner or later here or in our booth, or we have the chance, we show you what we call You in Greece. And that was a very successful campaign because we did it in all social media. Then we made the campaign the opinion of our visitors in our country, and half of each edition are Americans from all over the United States. Also, what we did a lot again the classical way, many press trips and many fun trips. Also, we make it possible and we film, with the help of the private sector, great documentaries. Like the NBC and the Extra channel came over, and this last October, and since then you will see it repeatedly and also social media, The Mansion and the Millionaires. It was a 1-hour documentary in Greece, in Athens, in Thessaloniki, Santorini, and all over. Also, I don't know if you saw it, we host the 4 episodes of the next American top model in Greece. All this create a great interest, and we make all these numbers because also we work very close with our industry. Also, was a new thing, was the alliance of Greece. The private sector gave voluntarily his help to make us promote our country in many, many levels. I will tell you lately, as you know, all of us, the great organization, the Gregorian, made it possible for on the future, all the restaurants in 6 states, about 6,000 of them, will present samples and placemates of the famous Greek painters, and especially also about the Greek diet. The Greek GDP is about 17% people there working in tourism. 700,000 as a permanent job, and we have another 200,000 seasonal. Then we understand tourism is one of the best interests for our country to increase it, and especially from the United States, because the American tourist, as you know, the characteristics, we call them in our language as a traveler, because the American, when travels, his package has at least 2 countries, and in each country has 2 to 4 destinations. The Americans, they will see the museum, they will try your cuisine, they will go out, they will buy gifts for their family and the friends. That means they are spenders, because when they travel, they want to do a lot of things. For our average, if we have an American visitor, for the average of our country is like 3 other visitors. That means if we increase traffic in the United States, 100,000 more people, it's like we have income of 400,000 people. This year, I'm pleased to announce, in 2011, we crossed 16.5 million tourists from all over the world, and that was an increase of 10% in the arrivals, and our income was almost 14%, and as a matter of fact 13.94, and from 11.5 billion euros we're able to make an income of 16.2 billion euros. That means we do something for our promotion, we do something for our country, and I invite you, all of you, and especially the Greek Americans, to become volunteers in our campaign to promote our country, because we need it. And we need to bring any American friend to our country. And when the Americans visit the country, they come back again. Because it's not only the history, it's the beauty of our country, and it's the friendliness and the philoxenia of our people. Thank you very much.
At this point, 1 or 2 questions, quick questions, please, and up to the point, because of the time constraint that we have other speakers, and I notice that we need to listen to them as well. Dr. Pallas from Michigan.
Τα θετικά τα βλέπουμε, and we agree and we've done progress. What hurts us, what bothers us, is when the private channels show the Spanish ship in Piraeus will not allow the tourists to come out. When I take my grandkids to an archaeological museum and me blockado, don't tell me it's a function of democracy. We have democracy here too, and we can protest, but we have to walk. And we don't throw stones at policemen. So you got to do something about the law.
You're absolutely right. I propose to our superiors, if it's possible, the parliament to change this law and follow the American law, which you can protest anywhere. You can even burn the American flag. You have the protest of the police, but you cannot close the streets, you cannot close the museum, you cannot... don't allow the people to come out of the ship and visit the country. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. I heard you talking about 5 minutes. What have you done in the past? But I didn't hear you talking or telling us what are you going to do. Here we go again, the same stage, like political party. We did this, we did that, but what are you going to do, sir, for the year 2012? That's what I want to hear from you.
The 2012, for first time, except the great campaign we continue to have in the social media, we will have a small budget for advertisement. We will do a lot, and a priority for the United States is the co-op advertisement. We invite our partners from the private sector to go with us, and especially in press trips and in any campaign, because as you know now, a campaign is not only the printing press, it's not only the website and the mobile application. We go in all of these levels with the private sector, and we will continue to educate more the travel agent, because you know the competition is not easy. It's not only because Greece is the motherhood of the Western civilization, it's not only because we have the best islands of the world, but there are hundreds and hundreds of destinations with a lot of bigger budgets, and of course we focus a lot to the education of the travel agents, because this is the people who they can promote us and sell more, because the secret in the United States is to have with you the distribution system. And we will focus on that.
Είχα την ίδια ερώτηση και εγώ, τι θα κάνετε πάντα. Θέλω να προσθέσω. Ήμουν στο Panama recently. I was in Panama recently, and it was a tourist agency, something that we were, it happened to stop by. They had brochures for Turkey, for Albania, and for other countries, nothing for Greece. In Caribbean, the same thing happened last month, 2 months ago. I was inside the boat and I saw different brochures, nothing for Greece. And it happens all over. It doesn't cost anything. It's a matter of communication, it's a matter of promotion. To put those brochures, also during the traveling to Greece, last year or a little before that, with the Delta airline, inside this big magazine that they had 2 pages for Turkey and a little paragraph for Greece. This is something that you have to look into.
Okay, thank you very much. Very little, but I'm proud to announce this moment. Yesterday we had a big deal with Google and Expedia. More than Turkey, more than any other country of the world. Then from today, you go to your computers, you will see the banners of Greece. Anything you do in Google, first is Greece. And we try to do more things. Thank you very much.
Save your questions for later, please. I know that all of us, we have experiences, and that's why we said at the beginning, we need to build synergy. Synergy works in 3 ways and more. Help you, help us, help the community groups. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Tsilas. Thank you very much. Very well taken points, but all of us, we need to work together to help one another, to show the ability to connect and uplift and go back again to where we were before. We need the volunteers. All of us are very good ambassadors of... exactly. Thank you. The next speaker is Chris Christakis, the chairman of the U.S. Greece Business Advisory Council. Trade and investment opportunities over the Atlantic. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Congratulations once again for a well-run and starting of the Expo. I forget how many years it's been since I've been here with you, but it's a long time. And just like Mr. Sarato said, it's getting better every year. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a businessman. I'm involved in different businesses, and I'm going to give you a business perspective of investments and investing in Greece. If some of you came here to vent your frustrations of how things are going in Greece, please don't shoot at the messengers or anybody who speaks here. We're here to present ideas and concepts and work together to solve some problems. Greece, or the Greek government for that matter, is broke. no other way to put it. A lot of Greeks right now are out of money themselves. They're suffering. There are a few Greeks, as we speak, that still have a lot of money in Greece, and a lot of Greeks outside of Greece that even have more money to invest. This is the group that I'm addressing to. Not the Eladites, but the Homogenea. Ladies and gentlemen, Greece is an adaptive country. There's a Greek saying that "O Έλληνας δεν κολλάει." Remember that. You go back to anything that you've done before, and with all due respect with our good friend here who is going to Turkey to open a restaurant, great move, and he's going to make money. But when Google was starting as a company, the people that rented their garage to their president to start their company did not invest in that country because they thought it was a bad risk. There's a huge risk in investing in Greece right now, and you should know that, and you'll see it in my presentation. But if there's high risk, there's also high reward. So let's get started here. This is not going to be too long. But there is a Greek agency, it's called Investing Greece Agency. It's a public agency owned by the Greek government. Historically, Greece has been at the crossroads of east and west, and north and south. Today, Greece is at a different crossroads. There are difficult financial conditions, but as you heard before, it has a lot of good things that are still there. Invest in Greece looks at local investors, stakeholders, regional, international, and global. There's a National Fund for Entrepreneurship and Development, ETN. I just want to tell you that some of these things, some of you know, some of you have not heard it. This is new stuff that are coming up. Greece is changing very rapidly. It's going to take some time to adapt, but it's happening. What is ETN? It's a Greek national fund to support enterprises. Deals directly with banks, not businesses. Designed to improve access for finance, and it's co-founded by operational programs in competitiveness and entrepreneurship and other NSRF programs. How does it work? Funds are created for green development, and if you're not into the construction business, that's sustainable design, energy efficient design, entrepreneurship, outward-oriented business activities, fisheries, agricultural development, social entrepreneurship. For every euro the state guarantees, the banks shall guarantee 2 euros. The capital is available in the form of friendly soft loans through the banks, and enterprises may borrow total secured business loans and significantly less collateral. This is the contact, and if any of you wants to see the presentation in detail, don't keep notes, give me your card, and I will be happy to email this whole thing to you so you don't have to remember and write down names and numbers. There's strategic investments through acceleration of transparency of these investments. And then there are areas of investments that some of them relate to tourism, as in this case hotels, conference centers, even golf courses are going to someday become very popular in Greece. Not right now, but stay tuned for all those golfers. Now, if you Google in this country for the top performing industries last year, you're going to see a bunch of names of companies that, it's going to confuse you as it did to me. But everybody seems to be an expert as to what are top performing industries in hot markets, as they call it today. And here's a bunch of them. You can argue with some of them whether they're hot or not, but the predictions are that are getting hotter as the economy is stabilizing. Let me tell you about everything I've said to you so far is a public acknowledgement and a public enterprise in Greece supported by the Greek government. What you see here is purely private. This has to do with myself and a bunch of other investors. We started an initiative through the U.S. Business Advisory Council and some other individuals, and we called it Heri Voithias, Hellenic Economic Recovery Initiative. It's very modest, as the gentleman said about the investment in Turkey. It's a similar attitude of a group of investors that as of right now, there are 3 projects that I'm involved with. One is a door and window company in Crete, a Greek company that we just formed a new company with them. We're going to import doors and windows from Crete, aluminum and vinyl, and we already have a market here to sell in this eastern United States. We're just working on a very large project in New York. There's another business that has to do with a very big and famous Greek pastry company. It's under formation, and if any of you are interested, they're coming to the United States, and we're talking about Mediterranean delicacies from France, Italy, Greece, and other places to be made here by Greek technology and Greek resources. And the last one is a study that we undertook at the Western Macedonia of Kozani, where we commissioned a local group there to tell us what this is, what the Heri is all about, and I'll tell you in a minute. The mission of this group is to utilize the best and highest value of a product or service, develop a profitable enterprise for its owners and investors, and at the same time help jumpstart the local economy of the region in Greece. All the investments are from oil or a service that will come out of that region. Establish the criteria for safety, quality, and the standard stuff, marketing, sales, distribution, and then the metrics of how to measure successes and failures. That model works anywhere in the world, but right now we're concentrating in regions in Greece that have some resources, like in the area of Kozani, who, when they came back to us and told us there were 5 areas that could really be very, very successful and profitable. One was with the remnants of the Marmara που βγαίνουν στο τρανόβολτο της Kozani's. This is the marble leftovers to pulverize them and make them into lime for construction and for agriculture. Potentially quite profitable enterprise in the large quantities. The other one was to make marmelades with the famous Rodakina and Fraules of Belvedere. And there are factories right now that are just standing still, and with very little small investment, we could do things and export them in here. And feta cheese is the one we're concentrating, because for about $2.50 a pound, we can bring some of the best feta in the world to this market and turn it around and double or triple the price, even at wholesale, before it goes into Wawas and other places and sells for $12 or $14 a pound. Here's a sample financial picture of what it looks like to establish a company that has 15 employees in the product or service environment. In this case will be service. The total number of labor, workers, support, their benefits. This is the uses of the company, or the cost of how much it's going to cost, the cost of materials, and then all the operational expenses, and that translates to a grand total of $1.385 million of total net operating cost, and then working backwards for some initial startup costs of about 10% of the total cost. Equipment costs were added, initial supplies costs, so that brought the total capital required for this enterprise of $2 million. The projected return on investment to the people that are investing in this will be a minimum of 15% on their return, and a maximum of 25%. It's doable. We're doing it, and we're not waiting for other people to complain about it. If you're interested, get involved. But if you invest in Greece, I want to warn you, words of caution. Because if you're gullible and if you think you can send your money over there to give it to somebody you don't know and they're going to make money for you, I have an island to sell you as well. This presentation is for information purposes and not as an investment advice. All investments involve risk. Learn what your risk tolerance is before you invest. Okay? Do not gamble with your money, but learn how to invest. Educate yourself. Associate yourself. This is very, very important, especially doing business in Greece. With a trustworthy representative, whether it's a relative or a friend or somebody that you trust. You can not run a business from here remotely and expect to go well. Anybody who's done that, there are very few successes and lots of failures. But get involved and assign somebody there that you personally can trust, unless, of course, you can go there yourself. And always consult an attorney, an accountant, and other qualified professionals before investing. This is my presentation. As I said, this is both the government offerings that are right now. They're changing fast. There's a vast amount of information about the laws and the new rules that the Greek government are imposing for investors. We have information to give you. Again, if you're interested, give us your email or your business card. We'll be happy to send you the entire study. It is a modest approach. It's a grassroots approach. There are a lot of areas to criticize and complain, and we all do that daily. In this particular case, Greece needs our help. Yes, our criticism, but more than that, it needs our help. And we need them as well. It's not them and us. It's all of us. Ελληνισμός is είναι παγκόσμιος. And we all need to get together and work like this is the #1 national issue, as we talked last night at the Hague meeting. As a Macedonian, I know how important it is, the name of Macedonia and the Cypriot problem and all the other problems that were mentioned before. They are extremely important. None more important than working out and resolving the economic problem that exists globally, but especially in our small country, our fatherland. Thank you very much.
And please, at the end, he's going to be here at the end, so this way.
One question.
Okay, one question.
You just said that the Greeks are crooks at the end. And that you
I didn't say the Greeks are crooks.
But you mentioned that.
I didn't say the Greeks are crooks. You're putting words in my mouth.
You just said that the Greeks. Be careful, and what's that mean?
That means if you go to Abu Dhabi or New York, you do the same thing. You do exactly the same thing. It has nothing to do with the Greeks. It has to do with human nature. You cannot send money remotely and expect that to be working. There's nothing bad about the Greeks. It's human nature. If you're not there yourself or with somebody that you trust, you cannot have a successful enterprise. And everybody who has a restaurant.
Ladies and gentlemen, he gave us also some ideas of how to work together. There are opportunities if we look for them. If we don't look for opportunities, you can pass by all the exhibitors on the floor, but if you're not going to stop and talk to them, you're not going to find out who they are and what they do. You assume that everybody knows who you are and what you do. But unless you talk to the person, then your message is going to go across. It's a two-way street. Okay? Please use that to your advantage. Go out and talk to the people. We don't talk much about our issues. That is one of the problems that we have. Okay? And this forum opens up to everybody. So this way we can hear all the good ideas and we have some education about what we're doing so we can go to the next level. I don't want you to think that we have only Greeks here or Greek Americans or American Greeks that they are talking, Dr. Lomis, about our issues, about synergy, about Greece, about Greek America, about America, etc. We have American friends, Philhellenes, ambassadors, the goodwill ambassadors, if you like, that they promote Greece. Maybe we promote Greece every day, but they do promote Greece on a daily basis as well. One of them is Mr. Howard Kyle, the Chief of Staff, the Executive Officer, and I want to invite him to the podium. Later on, he's going to addressing the audience at the grand opening in a few minutes, but I want him to have a chance to share his opinion about the tourism topic that we have this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I think this is the 21st annual Hermes Expo. I've been to probably 12 of them. I talked to Paul regularly throughout the year. Paul serves the organization well. Let me just make one quick comment. Listening to presentations about the Euro crisis, the problems you're having in Greece, there is a bit of an affinity that we can have with you here in Atlantic County. Because if you look at Atlantic City, which is our primary area for tourism and gaming, we've had severe challenges in the last few years. If you go back to 2006, the casino win, the amount of money that was coming into this area from casinos was $5.2 billion. That has deteriorated down to about $3.2 billion. So in a few years, we have lost in our economy more than $2 billion. The number of visitors coming here has declined largely because a lot of other communities have started to have legalized gambling. So we have much more competition. 1995, we were the only casino pretty much on the East Coast. Now there are 25 areas with casinos. That has changed. Another major significant challenge that we face here is employment. In 2007, July of 2007, I think the maximum, it was July of 1996. That was the peak year for employment. 51,000 people were employed directly in the casino industry here in Atlantic City. The number now is 33. Of those 33,000, a large number of those jobs are no longer full-time jobs that pay good salaries and good benefits. They're morphing into part-time jobs that don't have any benefits. So that has presented serious challenges for this area because this area's primary industry has always been tourism. And we've been hurting in that regard, and we're taking some aggressive steps to address that. Number one, you may have read about the governor came in, he's established a tourism district, a state-run tourism district in Atlantic City. That's in place. Another thing, we have given a state agency much more authority to do things in Atlantic City, but ultimately we are also looking at opportunities outside of Atlantic City. The lesson I think that we can offer you, and just as I've learned a lesson from you today, is that we can't go back to 2006. We're not going to be able to go back to the way things were. We have to accept new realities, and that's where we are. The second thing is, you can't solve your problems with the same kind of thinking that created your problems. And so what we are working very hard to do in county government is to make people think differently, to see new opportunities, to organize, to take advantage of those opportunities. And so in that regard, we're partners. We are partners as Americans, as Greek Americans. We share the concerns that you have. We will help in any way we can. We will maintain relations with your organization, with people like Paul, and we look forward to working with you. So thank you.
And Mr. Kyle has promised that in the next 2 years we're going to form a commission. Can I reveal that information? Okay. And we're going to do a trade mission to Greece with American companies, American products, and Greek Americans, of course, are welcome. Okay, because we're Americans as well. So to go to Greece and to the southeastern Balkan countries and eastern Mediterranean. So we're going to start not only in Athens, not only in Thessaloniki, not only in Yanina, my hometown, but we're going to go to Bucharest, we're going to go to Sofia, we're going to go to other cities in that region. So whoever is interested, they can join us. Okay, thank you very much. The next speaker is one of the, I would say, ambassadors of goodwill, Philhellenes. Really smells, ladies and gentlemen. Amelia recently wrote a book about Greek tourism, and that's why we invited her from Pittsburgh to come and share that with us today. And let me tell you, we have people from LA, Abu Jabarian from LA. Thank you very much for coming. The Armenian communities with us. We have so many from Chicago. Not only Mrs. Vlachakis that I introduced earlier, but John Karas, Mr. Madarangas from the Hellenic American National Council, Detroit, Dr. Pallas, Wilmington, Delaware, our friends, Dr. Lomas, Dr. Father, everybody. And, of course, Baltimore is very well represented. Diane Holbert is here with the Baltimore area sister city. Thank you very much for what you're doing. George, you're helping tremendously that committee, along with, of course, we have Mr. Milisaratos in Baltimore, the jewel of not only the Greek American community, but for the American community as well, for all of us. And you can expand later on to go to Greece with us with that trade mission. We can stop at Piraeus and we can network with them. And we have the Pan-Gregorians, our friends, the Pan-Gregorians, Mr. Tsangarakis from Upper New York. Thank you very much. Thank you for what you're doing, not only for the Hermes Expo, but being here, bringing some of your companies, but also for what you are doing, helping the community as well. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amelia Smells.
When you begin your journey to Ithaca, pray that your journey is long. As a Philhellene, my journey has been long, thanks to Paul, because he introduced me to all of his wonderful friends and encouraged my writing. I'm an author and I'm writing about Greece. And I must say, if I may, Harris, you say you are in technology, but you are a poet. I heard you say one of the assets of Greece is the beauty of the land, and that is what I write about. And Chris, Vasilis, you asked for volunteers. The best way I can volunteer is to use my talents as a poet and a writer to celebrate the beauty of Greece. And I thank you all very much.
Thank you. Well, out of this Hermes Expo, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing the business community together. We are bringing the young professionals together, the students, anybody from the age 18 to 32, and anybody from the age 15 to 115. Okay? And with Amelia, we are building a committee, the best Philhellenes ambassadors for Greece. Later on, when we're going to be ready to introduce that idea, we're going to do that. Thank you, Dr. Tsounis, for joining us today from New York. Thank you. And also our friends from the media, Anne and Mr. and Mrs. Okunas. Thank you very much. Wayne Yakos is here too, another candidate from New Jersey. Thank God, but we don't have two senators from the same state. It's not your time yet. Thank you. But we're going to give you the floor. Another Philhellene friend we have is Victoria Papale, the artist, that she loves Greece, and she's another ambassador. So I will invite her for a couple of moments to share the podium with us.
My name is Victoria Papale. I'm not a business person, but I am an artist. And in the 1980s, when I first set eyes on Greece, it was love at first sight. And Greece has given me many gifts over the past. One of them is my art. When I first went to Greece, I couldn't bear to leave, and I stayed there for 1 year. That year I spent in Greece it opened me up creatively, and consequently I became very serious about my art. I studied in Greece, I exhibited on the island of Hydra, and most of the content of my art is Greek mythology and from literature, the beautiful Helen of Troy. So you can see some of my work. I am an exhibitor here. But you can say, in a way, in my little computer room in my house, I am an ambassador, because I've been posting the beautiful pictures of Paros on Facebook. And in June, I hope to have a painting workshop in Paros. So people are learning about the beautiful island of Paros, and I'm explaining where all the mountain villages were, the seaside villages. I'm nervous, excuse me. And so in my own way, I am an ambassador. I have my own little tourist agency in my computer room, and I do have 2 people that are coming. And so the arts, it's a universal language. Everybody can accept it, understand it, and I think that's another way Greece, with its open arms, can welcome people to its country. Thank you.
Thank you. Yannis Yannis is with Kalamos Investments, one of our sponsors of the Hermes Expo, and he's going to be the next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Yannis Yannis. I'm here on behalf of John Kalamos Sr., Kalamos Investments. We are a global investment money manager. We manage close to $40 billion. I don't want to say too much about investments, the economy, what's happening. The only thing the message I'd like to pass is that, and I'm not an expert on tourism, the only thing I'd like to say is that I am a tourist. One of the biggest issues I see in Greece is, obviously, there's a number of issues, okay? The biggest thing that I see, the biggest challenge we have is that the majority of the individuals, in particular the youth, need a shift, a paradigm shift in their mentality and their psychology. We can't control that where we are here. We are Greek Americans. We are in America. We can't do much to control that. Mr. Koutsilas maybe has a hand on it, more directly. But I think what we can control is our mentality. We are the protectors of the image of our heritage here. So only thing I can say to you is that we need to educate ourselves so we can provide a positive message to other nationalities here in the States. If we want to help tourism, we can do it in that small way. I guess that's my only message, really. We've heard a number of different statistics, methods, different things on how we can help tourism. I would just encourage all of us to educate ourselves. I see Nick Latigakis is here. American Hellenic Institute, they have a website where there's a number of different issues. I need to educate myself better on it. I encourage all of us to do that so we can provide a positive image to the other people, other nationalities here in America. And I think it's a small way we can help. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Mr. George Moniotis.
Thank you, Paul. I spent years in public relations in Baltimore, and I just want to say, in today's world, marketing is not only driven by brochures, it's just one component to the marketing industry. What is driving today's marketing is the internet. The internet is the vehicle that all young people, and older people, but most young people look at the internet and seek the internet before they do anything else. And in all fairness to the tourism department, I know down in Panama and around the country, but they all have the internet, and that's what they have access to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to introduce another Phil Jeff Abramson, who is with the Top Fusion. He has a booth here, and I want you all to stop by and get educated about how to do the marketing that George is mentioning in a modern way, sending emails with your own video message. Am I right, Jeff? So thank you very much. At this point, I would like to introduce George Marangos, the controller of Nassau County, who traveled all the way from New York, taking part at the Hermes Expo. And I want to wish him well because he is a U.S. candidate. And as a Greek American, all of us, we take pride and welcome him here and wish him well. And of course, we would like to share his opinion about the ideas that we're doing, building a synergy here.
Paul, thank you. My fellow Greek Americans, my name is George Maragos, and I'm a candidate for the United States Senate in New York. This is the first time that a Greek American, an immigrant, has been elected to be on the ballot for the Republican Party for the United States Senate. It's a historic opportunity for the Greek community to elect one of their own and have a Greek voice in Washington. And you may feel that it's improbable, but I can assure you that nobody expected me to win against a popular two-term incumbent and become the Nassau County Controller. And I did it. And I'd like to think that the spirit that drove us all to come to this country, that gave us the opportunity, and with our determination, initiative, we succeeded. And as an immigrant, I continue to have that determination to succeed. Because we all know that we're as good as anybody out there, and nobody's better than us. And the difference is whether we have the determination to succeed. I want to thank Paul for the invaluable work that Hermes Expo does to promote Greek exports and economic development, but also equally important in bringing our Greek American business community together so that we can have a dialogue and help one another. I know I don't have much time. Paul, how much time do I have? That's it. Okay, so let me then make the remark very short. I'm running for the U.S. Senate not because I have any ego or personal gain. I've come from the private industry where I was for 35 years. I've been successful. I've reached some of the highest levels in corporate America. So my only motivation is to give back to the community and to restore and provide for the next generation the opportunities that we all have had, and I certainly have had, to become successful in this country. And let's not lose sight, ladies and gentlemen, that we here in America, we are heading in a direction that is not that much different from where Greece finds itself today. We do not have a vision as a country where we're going or how to become competitive in this world as we're losing our competitiveness. We have our deficit, our national deficit, currently running and has been running for a few years at 30%. That's twice what the deficit was in Greece at its highest peak. And our national debt is now approaching 120% of our GDP. And in 4 to 5 years, it's projected to grow to 160%, exactly the same level where the Greek national debt was before the economic collapse. So ladies and gentlemen, we are headed in the same direction unless we take drastic steps to reverse direction so that we do not see the future in Greece, here in America. So that is the reason that I'm standing up and running for the United States Senate. And just as I said, as a Greek community, we're coming together to exchange and dialogue. I ask for your support to prevail and be a strong voice for the Greek American community in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we all wish you the best of luck. And we know that you need votes to take you there, and also some ammunition to drive you to the voters as well. So you need some gas too. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Abramson from Top Fusion. Because we're introducing new IT, the new technology, to all of you, that is why we invited Jeff to have a chance to drive you to his
Thank you, Paul. Hello, everybody. I was here last year, and Paul and I have been working together on this initiative for the last couple of years now with Talk Fusion. What I see in this room is a heck of a lot of passion. There's a lot of passion for Greek Americans, the country, the people, the food, the lifestyle. I mean, when you look at these pictures, it is incredible to see what that country is over there, and to look at opportunities today, where things are going. We were talking a little bit earlier about the internet and how the internet is changing business, it's changing the way people work, it's changing everything. We're looking at even the issues we were talking about earlier about the newscasts and how they bring up the worst side of the things we see in countries like in Greece. But you know, the opportunity today is all about video. Video is the delivery vehicle for information. It's the way you post video through the social media like Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. It's getting your message out. It's the little guy telling his story, rather than waiting for MSNBC or any of these major networks to show a story about some riot or issue. It's all about us sharing our stories, sharing our ethnicity to people all around the world, and to promote that. And so we have a booth here, it's called Talk Fusion. I'm not going to take too much of your time, but we're going to show you how you can leverage this technology, how you can get in front of more people, and you can really build a serious income with it. So I thank you for the time, and we'll see you over at our booth sometime today. Thanks, Paul.
And before I turn the podium to our MC tonight, George Forgatis, one of the prominent Greek-American lawyers from the greater Philadelphia area. He has been involved with so many things in our community, and I just want to point out that if all of our professionals are doing the extra mile and getting involved in the community like George is involved in the HEPA, in the Federation, in the Greek American National Council, in so many other non-for-profit organizations, and he, by the way, he was the chairman of the parade again in Philadelphia. We had a tremendous success this year because of the new ideas and of the new people that he's bringing together, and I want to thank him very much for being here with us, and he's going to be our MC for tonight. But I want to give the podium for 1 minute to the president of the American Hellenic Institute, Nick Larigakis, at this podium.
Paul, as I'm walking up there, you know 1 minute is never enough. Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, I think we need to have a big round of applause, of course, to Paul Kotrochis and the tremendous effort.
Thanks to all of you. Without you, we were not going to be able to put together the Hermes Expo. So it's not only me, it's not only my family, it's not only my staff. It's all of you and all of us together. Thank you very much. Sponsors, exhibitors, contributors, and visitors as well.
That is true, but you still need a leader, and Paul has been diligent in this regard for the last 21 years. He and his family and his associates have done yeoman's work in trying to bring together the Greek American community and trying to tie this bridge of commerce between the United States and Greece. And in these times where obviously, as the discussion this morning would indicate, that's not exactly a very easy thing to do, but it's in difficult times that you need a captain. You don't need a captain when the seas are calm. So with that, again, we congratulate Paul on his fine effort here today. I can comment on a whole lot of things that was being discussed here today, and people don't have opinionated and don't have a problem expressing those opinions. I would just say this. When I was in Greece last summer, on one of my visits, I had a meeting with the president of Greece. He turned to me and he said, "Help us." And I turned to him and I said, "Mr. President, help us help you." And he turned around and said to me, "One hand washes the other, and both wash the face." No matter what we do here, we need to be real in terms of what is it that we can have an impact on as Americans. As I look around this room here today, I don't know how many of you are business people. And I don't know how many of you have the wherewithal, as Mr. Palamis has, for example, to be able to put in a $3 million investment somewhere. Probably very few. But we all have mouths. And as Greek Americans, we like to use them. Let's use them in a proper way. I do believe strongly in tourism. I do believe that is the driving engine for the Greek economy, that and the commercial shipping. Combined, they're approximately between 30 and 40% of Greece's GDP. And for the other, if those of you who may not be aware, Greek-owned vessels, not Greek flag carriers, but Greek-owned vessels transport 17% of all the world's commerce. That's huge. It's number one. The Greek government needs to do its part. We can't speak completely with what the Greek government needs to do. We're not the Greek government, we're American citizens. We can certainly express to them certain things, and I'm not going to get into that right now, but they do need sweeping reforms regarding the investment climate. Profit should not be a dirty word, and it has been in Greece for the last 35 years or so. So that needs to change, and I think a lot of things are moving in that direction. The only thing I'd like to say is to bring to your attention just two quick things. In my recent discussions at the White House, we had before Greek Independence Day, in a meeting with some liaisons of the Bush administration, and when the Greek economy issue came up, a suggestion that I made to them is, they were floating around the rooms for suggestions. I asked them, I said, well, please pass along to the President that he might want to instruct the Secretary of Commerce to put forth a business delegation, to lead a business delegation of Americans to Greece in this time. If nothing else, for moral support, but potentially also for the sheer business of it as well. I submit to you that all of you who live in various cities and you have various business chambers of commerce, you may want to reach out to them as well and ask them to potentially do the same thing from the various cities. In addition to that, those of you who are in organizations and associations, professional associations, reach out to them and find out where is their next business meeting, where is the next business conference taking place. Well, you may want to suggest, Greece as a destination. But detrimental and critical to being able to bring tourism to Greece, at least from the United States, and that's all I'm speaking about, are air routes. Think about it. There is one non-stop a day, and that's Delta Airlines from JFK. It takes 5 hours to crisscross this country. And so the only non-stop, the only gateway city for non-stop travel to Greece is from JFK. Continental, before United merged, now becomes the #1 airline, used to fly one seasonal out of Newark. Last week, the American Atlantic Institute and the Warrior Half-Hour wrote a joint letter to the chairman of United Airlines asking them to reconsider this decision, was misguided in the first place, and gave reasons as to why this route should reopen. And what we suggested was, not from Newark, but from Washington, D.C., so we have a capital-to-capital connection. I think it's high time that Greece deserves that kind of respect regarding its air corridors. But it does also involve the Greek government, unfortunately, to reach out and to try to work with United and to make that happen. But each and every one of us has a role to play, and that is, I fly United, and I'm a 75,000 to 100,000 miles a year flyer on United. That was put into the letter. A whole bunch of people in here probably fly United, and we need to have a grassroots campaign, just like we try to lobby the Congress. We need to lobby also the business community when we feel there's somewhere that has been wrong, so we can make it a right. And I think that has to happen. And look for our newsletters, our news releases the next couple of weeks to give you that information. Again, it's a pleasure to be here as always. I congratulate Paul and his staff, and I look forward to talking with many of you during the course of the next day or so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing over the last 25 or 30 years in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. the IOCC is here. Mr. Pantazopoulos is the regional chairman. We're going to have a chance to hear from him at the grand opening and also from Gwen Yakos as well. And I want to also introduce Bill Mantzikoudis, who's here today, and I want to thank him for what he's doing every time that we have a delegation from Greece connecting and all those people that they're coming with his network up in the north. And we wish you all the best and thank you for joining us. I know that so many of us have schedules and appointments with exhibitors. I want to introduce George Koriadis, our MC for today, to announce the schedule before the grand opening, and all of us we should go to the registration desk so this way we can proceed with the program, and then we're going to have a chance to see and network with exhibitors. George?
Paul, thank you, but I think you just did everything. As usual. Spring has sprung when Paul gets to the microphone in Atlantic City. But very seriously, please, if you can, let's make sure that we go to the front registration area where we'll have our dignitaries and ribbon cutting. And then after that, you've seen the schedule, you've received the schedule, it's in the program, it's in the flyers, it's on the internet, it's everywhere here. But Paul has obligated me now to say it once again, and that is the grand opening at 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock, the Hermes Young Professionals Initiative Professional Growth and Mentor Conference in this room. At 2 o'clock, the AHI, Mr. Laragakis, his project, the Cyprus documentary film, again, it's one of the exclusive showings that they are hopeful to take nationwide. They have already, and we're hopeful that you can take a look at it and consider it for your communities at 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock, a presentation out on the, I guess you could say, the west side, on the other side, completely opposite of this room, by the Hellenic Medical Society. At 3:30, Greek Teachers Association of the United States meeting. Where will that be? Which room?
Diamond.
Okay, that's in the Diamond room. Huh? That's not on the schedule. Okay, that'll be in the Diamond room. Okay, and then of course we have the dinner reception cash bar at 6 o'clock. In between, of course, you have your exhibitors, and please don't lose a lot of money at the craps table. Paul, I do have one more thing. We all wear these badges. Thank you for this little badge, but the badge that we really wear is one of Hellenism and one of supporting each other, one of networking. We want to thank you for assisting us in doing so.
I want to introduce George Koriadis, our MC for today, to announce the schedule before the grand opening, and all of us we should go to the registration desk so this way we can proceed with the program, and then we're going to have a chance to see and network with exhibitors. George?
Paul, thank you, but I think you just did everything. As usual. Spring has sprung when Paul gets to the microphone in Atlantic City. But very seriously, please, if you can, let's make sure that we go to the front registration area where we'll have our dignitaries and ribbon cutting. And then after that, you've seen the schedule, you've received the schedule, it's in the program, it's in the flyers, it's on the internet, it's everywhere here. But Paul has obligated me now to say it once again, and that is the grand opening at 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock, the Hermes Young Professionals Initiative Professional Growth and Mentor Conference in this room. At 2 o'clock, the AHI, Mr. Laragakis, his project, the Cyprus documentary film, again, it's one of the exclusive showings that they are hopeful to take nationwide. They have already, and we're hopeful that you can take a look at it and consider it for your communities at 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock, a presentation out on the, I guess you could say, the west side, on the other side, completely opposite of this room, by the Hellenic Medical Society. At 3:30, Greek Teachers Association of the United States meeting. Where will that be? Which room?
Diamond.
Okay, that's in the Diamond room. Huh? That's not on the schedule. Okay, that'll be in the Diamond room. Okay, and then of course we have the dinner reception cash bar at 6 o'clock. In between, of course, you have your exhibitors,
and please don't lose a lot of money at the craps table. Paul, I do have one more thing. We all wear these badges. Thank you for this little badge, but the badge that we really wear is one of Hellenism and one of supporting each other, one of networking. We want to thank you for assisting us in doing so. Now Paul wants me to announce the honorees for the evening. Pedro Stimas, four-time Olympic champion. Yes, we can clap. Carol Brooks, International Trade Officer for the Department of Commerce in the city of Philadelphia. Anastasios Manesis, Vice President of the Pan-Gregorian Society. Feel free to clap, everybody. Again, it's bring us fun. Dr. Marinos Ionis, for his remarkable success and contributions to his profession. He's getting the Hermes Award as well. Andreas Economou, EB Fruity CEO. Savas Civicos, I have the District 5 Governor in New Jersey. John Cam, the Pennsylvania District of AHEPA, representing a large section of AHEPANS. And Dr. John Grosominides, who will not be here, Paul. He sends his regards. He is en route currently to the Ecumenical Patriarchate on a visit to benefit hopefully all of us. That's all I have.
And before we start presenting the awards to our honorees, every year, and thank you for your understanding on this, because we need to give the forum to the organizations, and that's what the role of the Hermes Expo is all about, to bring everybody together and give them the opportunity and the network. We give the forum to the Federation of Teachers to honor those people that they are doing whatever we're not doing. And I'm putting myself into the we, because of the fact we're working hard, we're out all the time, so we're not home and we're not teaching our kids the values, the Hellenistic values that they're diachronic and they're in so much need today in our society. And I want to thank Mrs. Stella Kokolis, the president of the Federation, for doing this in the last 5 years or so, and she's going to have the chance tonight to present some of the best teachers, Dr. Lomis. That's why we're doing this first, so to give an emphasis to the education, because it's a matter of education. Because if we're going to teach these kids with the values and the history of Greece and America, they're going to be better Americans.
6 years ago, my now 13-year-old second grandson of 6, who was 7, came from school, and he says, "Papu, were the Greeks that good? Were they that good?" I said, "Yeah, they were pretty good. But were they that good?" "Well, why are you saying this?" He says, "Well, today our teacher talked about Greeks. He said how the Greeks were so good. Were they really that good?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Well, I went to the library and got this book. A big book like this, but very thin. The Greeks." Second grader we're talking about it. I said, "Let me look at it." And I just simply turned over to the very end, the last page, which was half a page. And there were some very nice things. And I said to him, and he says, were they that good?" So I read him those few lines, which were very nice. And he says to me, "Boy, Papu, we're sure good, aren't we?"
Thank you, Of course, in addition to networking and Hellenism, there is also a social aspect to this wonderful Hermes Expo. And let's go to the front of the registration area before you stop by the craps tables and go and network. And please, all the honored dignitaries, let's have the ribbon cutting as we always do every year. Thank you.